Unless specifically indicated otherwise, the content expressed are my views only and not necessarily those of Lifeco Asset Management, LLC. The content presented is in no way an investment advice, solicitation, or an offer to sell securities or investment advisory services. The material is provided for general information and educational purposes based upon publicly available information from sources believed to be reliable. I cannot assure the accuracy or completeness of these materials. As such, the information in these materials may change at any time without notice. Reference to these discussions about IULs and annuities or fixed insurance products. Investments on fixed insurance products are different from investments in the stock market. Any guarantees provided by a fixed insurance product cannot be assumed to be guaranteed for any other investment.
Welcome to the Rock My Finances show on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV, where we put the fun in finance. Join Powerhouse Jennifer Jose, CDFA, CMC, and Private Wealth Advisor, as she collaborates with you to create clarity, control, and confidence with your money, your way. It's not about the zeros, so what is it all about? Let's find out. Now here's your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jose.
I am so excited for this week. I am so glad you're here. This has been an amazing week, just personally myself, and then I've looked forward to this all week because we have an amazing guest. So, as the song says, all you single ladies, yeah, I know I can't sing. But anyways, I have been speaking to several people this week, networking out there, meeting new people. I just moved to Beverly Hills, and so I'm in a new area and I'm meeting new people. And when people ask, what do you do? I love that question. What do you do? It's a hard question to answer sometimes. And in this society, I believe that's like the second thing we ask, right? Where do you live and what do you do? I love to ask, what do you do when you're not making money? And I actually just asked this the other day to someone at a party. We went to a Halloween party and they said, nothing, because I'm always making money. And I was like, oh, I have got to get to know you. You need to be in my circle because, as we all know, we are the sum of the 5 people of the circle around us. So I just loved that response. So what would be your response when someone asks you, what do you do when you're not making money? Now, I know most of us have accounts that are always making money. And I love that mantra. I'm always making money while I sleep. Like, that's the most important thing, right? Is to have all kinds of income streams coming in so that we can either get out of bed or not get out of bed, or at least get up and do exactly what we want to do while we're still making income from other streams. So I am excited because today we have an amazing guest, Christine, and she actually got me thinking about my last, I don't even know, 8 to 10 years or whatever. I have been single. Now, I was married for the first time at 19, second time at 29, third time's the charm. Yeah, nope. In my late 30s. And so I've been with everyone for about 10 years each. And now this last 10 years, it has been me, myself, and I. And I've gotten to know myself very well. And I love this time in my life. And I love being an empty nester. I love being able to support my adult children and their lives and them finding their way. And I have changed. So I don't know if anyone can relate to this as well, but I feel like each decade becomes a new me. So this is my single decade. So of course, who am I going to have on but an expert talking about what it's like to be single? What's it like to be dating in this modern era? So y'all, I'm so excited to bring on Miss Christine Lalonde. Hey.
Hi, everyone.
Did I pronounce your name right?
Lalonde. It's good.
Lalonde. Isn't that such a beautiful name? I love it. So
thank you.
I want everyone to say hi to Christine, and it's all her fault, y'all. She got me hooked on this podcast thing. She hooked me up with her team, and that is why I am here. And we were having so much fun every single week. I was a guest on her show, and I said, hey, you made this look really easy, and we had a total blast. So first, Christine, tell us about, well, before I start every single one the same way.
Okay.
We celebrate. We have to celebrate. So what did you spend money that brought you joy?
What did I spend money on that brought me joy? Let's see. Well, see, the problem is that I don't spend that much. I live in Southern California, just like you. Welcome to LA, by the way. We have to hang
Thank
out.
you.
You know, I spend money on bills and home and work. It's like perpetual. What brought me joy? You know what? Um, I like you started with this podcast company, and it's going to be in 2 weeks. It's going to be a year, and when
Oh,
I bought all my equipment, that was the most joyous moment, is when I knew that I was not only spending it on something that was going to be incredible journey, but also had the potential to make money. So it was fun. Yeah, I love this.
I love it. And you're so good at it. You're so natural. You made me so welcome as a guest, and you made it just so easy for me to step right in and just be my true self. And that's my big thing is my whole life. I've always wanted to be me and where I'm at and
Mhm.
what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And some people say I share too much and I'm very, very open. Some people like it, some people don't. In the financial world, you weren't supposed to share a lot of stuff, right? And I did.
Yeah.
So I was definitely outside of the box. So that's why I think I clicked with you is because you are so authentic and real, and we can have some really great
Thanks.
conversation. Even if I've only talked to you a few times, like I love your
Yeah.
authenticity. So I love it. Your podcast, you're so good at it, and that's what brought
Thank
you
you.
joy. And I love how
Mhm.
you answered the question, I don't know. I pay my bills. What is that? So I always give everyone homework. And I believe this, of course, that my thoughts and my beliefs, we cannot be in love and fear at the same time. We cannot be in
Absolutely.
joy and anger at the same time, right?
True.
So
Mhm.
everyone write down 100 things that you love. And sometimes
Mm.
when we're coming from that and when we celebrate that, that's what we're going to get more of. So I love that little tip. I'm always giving tips throughout the podcast. So tell me
I love that.
about your show, Christine. Tell me about it. Where
Yeah.
can we see it? When is it? What's the best thing about it? Tell me all about it.
Well, I love that we're both on Thursdays. But I'm live on Thursdays, just like you, Jennifer, but it's 4 p.m. PST, so Pacific time. So out of Florida, let's see, East Coast time, it's 7. Um, and 50 Shades of Bullshit is really about finding love, finding yourself, and talking about dating, talking about relationships, talking about whatever floats our boat. And really, something that has oh my god, I can't talk, the ability to give us 50 shades of a bunch of bullshit. So a few weeks ago we actually talked about menopause, what our mothers never told us. Right before that we talked about men's mental health, and I have a lot of guests that come on that talk about their crazy dating stories, or I think my second show I ever did was with 3 couples that had met online that are married or getting married and have been together a very long time. So a year ago, I started my podcast because I wanted the opportunity to grow as a person and in relationships. And I wanted to see, where that journey would take me. And it brought me to doing 50 Shades. Now, 50 Shades of Bullshit, it started out as a book, because when I started online dating, that's all I said to anybody when they asked me, how's it going? I said, it's 50 Shades of freaking bullshit. So, so it started out as a book, and then I thought, wait, I'm going to do a docu-series about it, because I'm actually a producer and a director, and I do documentaries, docu-series, television series, and films. And it started to be worked into making it in a docu-series, and then I thought, you know what, best way to get people to follow and to learn is to start a podcast. So it then evolved into that, and it will eventually be a docu-series just a few years from now.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You cover so much stuff in the podcast. So I do
Yeah.
enjoy that. And 50, I just
Thank you.
the title, literally your title made me do this podcast. Like
Oh,
I
thank
thought that
you.
was so great. That was so great. So a little bit about my story is after the 3 marriages, I needed
Mhm.
to have the strength to be able to trust again and to get back out there. So I hired an
Mm.
amazing life coach, Mayvu, Hot Love, Hot Life. It was amazing. I went through a 3-year program with her.
Nice.
in that program, I had to have, I didn't have to have, I chose to participate, and I had 25 first dates.
Okay.
Now, I was looking for the second date and the third date, but that did not happen. But through these 25 first dates, I started off with being weary and afraid and, do I meet in a public place? And I actually had one of my besties, Adam and Debbie actually went with me to one of my first dates, and they sat in the restaurant while I was in the bar with this guy. And now it's like, who cares? But in the beginning, it's a little scary. So do you have any advice for anyone who's maybe getting back out on the dating scene? And let's face it, the apps are the easiest, quickest way to meet somebody new.
Yeah, the apps are a great way. What I always tell people is know what you're getting into. Really have to investigate what's the right type of dating app for you. There are hundreds of them. I get on my show almost every month. I have a person come on who created an app for dating. So there are new dating apps all the time, and it's just a matter of what is going to float your boat. Now, dating online is not the only way to do it. We're constantly talking about what do you love to do? Go and do it. Not only that, but I've recently talked about how what do eligible men who are, because we're just going to talk women for a minute, and men can do this too, but let's talk about a woman looking for a man. Let's say, what is an eligible man who maybe has a hobby that he has to be able to afford? So if you're looking for somebody who's got a good stable job or a lifestyle, we always stop and think, okay, what are they doing? Are they hiking? Are they biking? Are they golfing? What are they doing? What are their hobbies? And then go and do them.
That's
go
good.
and be there. If you want to find a guy who's sitting in a bar in the middle of the afternoon or on a Thursday night and you want to hang out at the bar with him all the time, then go for it. But if you really want a quality guy who's not just picking up women at bars, you got to go and be where they're going to be. And there's these great apps out there called, oh, shoot. I just forgot what it's called. It's Meetup. There you go. Meetup.
Yeah, Meetup. Love Meetup.
Yeah, there's great things you can search on there. Maybe there's you want a sporty guy, so you go find a volleyball league or beach volleyball if you're at some place like that. Maybe there's parks that have softball. Go and watch softball. See who's leaving with a woman and who's not, and then say,
God,
"Hey,
that's such a great
idea."
Such a great idea.
So it's about feeling comfortable and going out there. Now, I get it. We all need to figure out, what we're doing and how we're doing it when we get to dating. But I think the most important thing that I've truly learned in this year of doing this podcast is that we have to figure out who we are first. And by improving ourselves, knowing our love languages, knowing our attachment styles, knowing what we're looking for and what we need, not just what we want, and the difference between what we need and what we want is super important. So we're constantly telling everybody on my show, let's find out who we are. Let's date ourselves. Let's figure out what we want. And then once we figure that out, go for it. But there's two things that are important to think about. People put a lot of columns, 2 columns. What I don't want and what I want. Once you figure out what you don't want, get rid of it and get it out of your vocabulary. I'm all about manifesting. And when you say, I don't want this and I don't want that, those are the things you're actually manifesting. So no longer talk about what you don't want. Always talk about what you do want. Oh, I want someone who's stable and who's reliable, somebody who's got a good career or really cares and loves his job. Maybe you're older and you want somebody who's retired and who wants to travel. Only talk about what you want. Never talk about what you don't want anymore. Once you figure it out, it's gone.
Such a great point. I love that, Christine. I love that. I'm also going to add a tagline onto that. I want you to, everyone, and me and you, to do it as well, is when we talk about money as well. So what we think about one thing is what we think about everything. So yes, we have to do our bills and we do our expenses. I have all my clients do a weekly money date and we focus on everything that we want from their outside of it. So we do the same thing. We don't talk about credit card debt. We don't talk about our bills. We don't talk about anything that brings us negativity. We always turn it around to positivity and stick there. So now I'm going to add one more thing to exactly what you just said. I didn't know I was doing this, but I have been dating myself. I actually want to buy myself a diamond ring now because it is all about the shiny bling, right? And my business names are diamonds. So I got to buy myself a diamond. So we're going to figure that out.
Okay.
And I want to take it a step further. Yes, what we don't want, what we do want, right? There's no way I can have any addiction, any alcoholism. Absolutely not. They have to be financially stable, equal to me or more. Been there, done that, not doing that again. They actually have to be healthy. I know that probably sounds terrible, but I'm really healthy. My mom's birthday is 90 coming up. My dad died at 94. Like, I'm going to live a long damn time. So I want my honey to live a long time too, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
These are probably just the things that I want to focus on in a healthier lifestyle. Not that I'm like all that hiking Jane woman. However, I do want to be healthy and active. So yes, have that list, and that's what we want. But now let's feel it. We all know about the F word. If you heard my podcast before, I love the F word. I love all F words, but this F
Me
word
too.
we're talking about, yes, you too. Probably click. This F word is feeling. So when we want to have that in our life, a stable partner, a strong, I love laughing. I love humor. I want to that's really important to me. Like, I need to be intellectually stimulated, and my funny bone has got to be stimulated. So what would that feel like? And I did a walk a while back. I like to go for walks during the day, and I walked up on this beautiful hill. And I do a lot of Abraham Hicks and stuff and law of attraction and manifesting, as you do as well. Yeah. And it just dawned on me that I literally could have a partner that is 100% financially free, 100% emotionally free from baggage from the past, which has been one of my hangups in one of the marriages.
Yep.
And completely looking forward to a future of serving others and having fun. The F word, another fun word, right? Fun. And when for some reason, it just like hit me, like, I deserve that. Not only do I deserve that, I actually can have that. And when I felt that, I felt those feelings of what it would be like to take my Surface Pro and be on a yacht and be in Hawaii and be in Europe and be in Greece and be in Florida and be all over the place, still coaching my clients, still doing my podcast, still having a blast, still taking care of my financial clients and being anywhere, but having that complete love and joy. When I felt that inside my body, I literally didn't have to look for it anymore. Like, it was, I already felt it was so awesome. So I love what you said about going to do. Now I want to go golfing because I love to golf. So I could go golfing, right? And meet somebody. I am doing the chamber here at Beverly Hills because I love entrepreneurs. So tell me about your life. Now, I think last time I talked to you, you had a gentleman in your life. Is that?
Oh, sister, things shift and move every day in my life.
Yeah, they do.
I met somebody back in May of this year, and it was a long distance thing. It was really a business relationship at first. And then as we talked every day for business, we then started talking personally. We started to really like each other. And then next thing you know, he's love bombing me. He is saying he's selling his house where he lives in another state and moving in with me. And I was like, I have a teenager. I don't think so. So I thought, you know what? The best thing I can do is go out there and meet him.
For sure.
I went, he kept putting me off and putting me off. And I finally just said, you know what, I'm paying for this and I'm doing it. So I went there, and it was the best thing I could have done because we learned very quickly that he was chat fishing me. And that's like,
what's that?
Well, catfishing is where you pretend to be somebody completely different.
Okay.
Say you're a girl and you're pretending to be a guy and you're luring this, person in. That's one thing. Chat fishing is a whole nother ball game. It's where somebody pretends to be somebody through their words. So they say,
Oh,
"Oh, I'm
yes.
this, I'm that." He said he was retired, said he was well set off. Turns out, you know, unemployment is not retirement. Okay? Let's let's get that shit straight. And he just was no one like he said he was. His words could not meet his actions could not meet his words, basically. So, and that is very important to me, is that your words and your actions have to meet. And he could not. And I came back feeling so relieved. It took me a while to get him completely away, because I also had to get him out of my life professionally as well, because he lied professionally about having the finances uh, to
Mm.
finance a project, that a film situation that I was doing. So big liar all around. But
I'm sorry.
no, I'm not, because life teaches you lessons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And it showed me that, okay, so long story short, let me tell you this crazy story. So 10 years ago, this guy finds me on POF, Plenty of Fish. And we hit it off. And we hit it off so much that we fall in love, and we lived together for 2 years. Now, he's got a lot of issues with work and no career and not being able to be, stable. I had my own healing to do out of a divorce.
Sure.
His parents were too involved as well. And I was like, nope, nix nay on that, parent nay. So we broke up. I called it off. And we remained friends for 2 years. And then 6 years now, 6 years ago, we stopped hanging out as friends, because he got a girlfriend and I was dating fine. But we still had each other's number, and we'd say hi once in a while. Well, when I stopped dating this tool who pretended he was somebody he wasn't, I decided to go back online. So I went on Tinder, and I was on there for a couple of weeks. And turns out this guy that I dated 10 years ago um, broke up with his girlfriend back in February and decided to go back on a few weeks ago. And I was in Orange County visiting friends, and he lives down here in Orange County. And he saw me on Tinder, and he super swiped me so that I would be notified. And then he texted me and said, as a joke, he really meant it as a joke, looks like fate has other things planned for us. And I just happened to be in Orange County again, and I went to go see him, and I saw his son again, and we had a great time. My daughter wanted to come down and see them, so we all hung out again for several days. And long story short, we are back together.
Oh
We have
my gosh.
Because all the things that he needed to work on, and all the things that I had and needed to work on, we both resolved those over the last 8 years. And so we're actually the people that we would like to have been when we had first met each other. So
Oh.
it didn't work out then, but it seems to be working out now. We'll see how it goes, but that's where we are.
Oh my gosh, Christine, I'm so happy for you. I love that. I love love. I love anyone in love. I
Yeah.
love it. It just feels so good and it's so exciting. I'm so happy for you. And the
Thank
families
you.
know each other, and that's so great. So you just
Mhm.
sparked so many questions just by that one little story. First of all, do we have to pay for dating apps? I know that's a lame question, but
No, there are things that you can pay. If a dating app is completely paid for, you pay it. Now, there are some that are really great, that are high quality professionals, high quality men and women who really got their shit together and can afford to do that. Go for it. If you are just, going to go on site and just try to find someone that you click with, I personally don't think you should pay. Now, there are lots of free sites out there that will get you where you want to go. Now, there are benefits within that site, that if you want to see who's liking you or whatever, you
yeah.
can pay something. Now, personally, I never wanted to pay for a site. I did a few times, and the same people on the sites that were paying are the same people that are on the sites that are not paying.
Yep.
So it was crazy. The sites that I paid for, they wouldn't respond to me. But if they matched with me on a site that is non paying, they would talk my ear off.
That's
So it was
interesting.
bizarre.
Yeah.
I think people get on a dating site where you pay and then they are like, yeah, no. And then they just go on the free ones and go, oh, same people, and then continue there.
I love
So I
that.
think that's
Here's
what it is.
I actually, I mean, it's been a long time and I never paid. Like I
Mm,
never paid until like when I did all that. And you're right. I met amazing people not paying. And then I did pay. It wasn't much, and filled out, spent hours and hours filling everything out. And I still met the other people on the other free stuff that I really clicked
yeah.
with anyway. So that's a good question. Next question. Um, when you I know there's so many different things but for me, I don't have time. So
Mm,
I want to click with you, maybe text once or twice, but then I want to meet you in person because it's all about
yeah.
chemistry for me. Is that still okay? What do you think?
That is the end all be all goal. If someone is not going to have full on conversations with you and be engaging and then say, hey, let's meet, if they're not doing that, walk away quickly. More
Okay.
than likely, they're people who are just there for attention, or they are not in a place that they are emotionally available or even physically available. They're probably in another state and don't want to tell you, or they're catfishing, or they're scammers and they want to reel you in for as long as they can, come up with stupid excuses. Oh, I know we were supposed to have a date today, but I got called for work and now I have to go out of town. Yeah, delete, block, and walk away. They are scammers, 100%. So never believe that the hot guy who's bumping up your DMs is who he says he is. They typically are not at all. So, but I
Okay.
will
That's
I
good.
will tell your listeners what to pay for. This
Okay.
this
Great.
There are things that you should be paying for. Dating coach,
Yeah.
100%. Dating coach. They're going to help you get where you want to be to find somebody that you're looking for. You can't find someone that you're looking for if you're not in the place that you need to be. A dating coach is going to get you there. They're worth it. I interview dating coaches all day long on my podcast. They are the best. I have a really good friend who's a breakup coach. If you're coming out of a divorce or a breakup, talk to her or someone like her, because then she's worth paying for, because they're going to get you past that drama, that trauma, a lot faster and in a better place than where you were before you went into that relationship. That's worth it. And if you don't want to go on the dating sites and you don't want to bother with trying to figure out who's catfishing, who's scamming, I would highly recommend a matchmaker. They're worth it, but you
How do
have
you
to
know
look for
who's
the
good
right one.
though? Yeah. How do you know
Yeah.
who's a good one and who's not? Because I've done that and it was not.
Well, reviews. I went with one that was not. They took my money and they were a scam, and I talked about that on my podcast. But I do have a lot of. I have hundreds of matchmakers in my database from my podcast, and that I work with that are all over the world. I interviewed Dubai, and Australia and England. They're all over, but I have them all over the United States as well, and matchmakers are incredible, and you just have to vet them. You have to look at reviews. You have to get a feel for them. You have to see what they're offering, what they're not offering. And if you ever have questions, your listeners could always reach out to me, to my email, and I'm happy to connect them with a great one. So
Yes, we would love that. And we need to definitely follow you and listen to everything because I did not know about matchmakers at all. Like I got screwed, so I'm done. But you're right. There's probably so many more that are out there. And I totally agree. My dating coach was Mevu, which was actually more of a lifestyle healing of all the past traumas that I've had, which was absolutely amazing and life
yeah,
changing for sure. I should hook you guys up as for another guest as well. That just came to my
I would
mind.
love that. I would love
Okay, great.
that.
She is amazing. Okay, here's another question that I get from Micah because I'm the money coach, right? And so
Mhm.
when my single ladies are dating, they ask me, everyone's a little bit different in their space, but when do they start talking about money inside that newlywed dating era, right? Like your very
Yeah.
first dating. Do you ever run across that, or has anybody talked about that on your podcast?
We haven't yet, and I should have you back on to talk about that. I think it's super important. I think that like the last gentleman that loosely call him gentleman, that I went out that I so-called went out with, um w- if I just listened to what he said instead of, you have to be very careful how they say things. You can ask somebody, what is your career like? What kind of money do you make? I mean, it could sound like you're a gold digger. It could also come across in a way that kind of, ruffles their feathers, and then maybe they lie to you. You never know. I'm curious what you think is the best way to go about that.
I love that. And I unfortunately don't have a cookie cutter answer. So
Hmm.
the last few, because like probably 90% of my gals are single, and so there's the sex talk comes up before the money talk, right?
Yep. Yep.
And having sex comes up before they're talking about money.
Hmm.
And or some people have their 90-day rule, some people have their monogamous rules, some people have just the third date, some people don't
Hmm.
care. Like everybody's different, and they do them. That's great. But then the money starts coming up when they start getting serious. And you can see someone's
Mhm.
lifestyle on what you're doing on dates,
Mhm.
right? So what's going on and
Yeah.
what they're inviting you for and who's paying for what, which brings me to another question. I didn't even answer that question. However, I'm different because I'm authentic and I want to talk about money. So
Mhm.
I want to have that. If you're unsure, if you are curious, you have to be you. If you don't care, then don't bring it up. But for me, I care. I mean, just by saying my title and what I do, that lends to believe that I'm financially stable. So that's good. But I want to know where they're at and what, I love money. I
Yeah.
love life. I love lifestyle. I love going and playing and having fun. I love
Mhm.
giving and service. And so I want somebody that's doing the same. Now, in this era of where we're at and with everything, there's people that have been laid off and that have not been working for a year or two or three.
Yeah.
So I think that it's easier to talk about money right now just because um in our era, like everything's different now. And plus the older I get, people are retired, some people aren't. Well, what does that retired? Retired, what does that mean? You go on a $2,000 vacation or a $10,000 vacation? Like what, just because you're retired does not mean squat. Like I need to know a little
Yep.
bit more. What's your
Yep.
lifestyle like? So if you're afraid to bring up money, just talk about your lifestyle. How do you see your lifestyle in the next 5 to 10 years? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I had a guy that I dated like maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you see yourself retired? Do you see yourself traveling? Do you still want to work? What's your plan for 5 years? Which I found was interesting. Now, if people are in their 30s and 20s are asking that question, they're looking for, are you looking to get married? Are you looking to have kids? Where do you want to live? People my age who are in their 50s, we're talking about, are we retiring together? Are we traveling together? Are we going to sit on the freaking couch and do nothing? Which is no, no, thank you.
No, thank
Um,
you. No
I,
bueno.
yeah, I think what you're talking about too is seeing how they live in their home. What, you know, that's going to tell you if they're living in a one bedroom apartment or studio and there's shit everywhere and they take no pride in it, and it's, I've walked into some places that are like, oh my god, they haven't done laundry in 2 months.
Oh, I'm
um
out.
yeah, it's like, okay, no thanks, for I'm not going to do the Netflix and chill today, yay, bye.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that. This brings up so many. You must have such a good time on your podcast. I want to make sure that everybody follows you.
We laugh a lot.
Everybody checks, right? Right. It'll be totally good. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. I'm going to talk about my amazing membership. We have a little commercial here, and it's doing really, really well. I have some new people that are joining me again this week. I just did a speaking event. And if you're not quite sure where you're at in your money world, this is the best, cheapest, most inexpensive way to get a $350 an hour person to tell you what the hell you're doing right and what the hell you're doing wrong and what to do next. So, okay, Juan, take it away, and we'll be right back. I have a very huge secret to show you at the end of this, so don't go away. You can't miss it.
Wait, the show isn't over yet. There's more fun and finances ahead. Jennifer will be right back as we have a special bonus offer for you right here on Rock My Finances, broadcasting live on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV.
Hey y'all, it's Jennifer Jost. Are you ready to transform your relationship with money? Rock My Finances Club is your weekly mastermind for wealth empowerment. Join me live for your personal weekly group video sessions and access your personal portal with the video library at any time, including your success system and way more bonuses. Go to rockmf.com for your financial empowerment. Make yourself a priority today. Schedule a chat with me at rockmf.com and achieve your feminine financial freedom finally. Oh, and don't forget to ask me how to save 50%. See you at our weekly mastermind.
Okay, Rock My Finances on K4HD and Talk4 TV is back. Once again, let's put the fun in finance with your host and weekly friend, Jennifer Jost.
Hey,
Awesome.
we're back.
We're back. I love it. Okay, so let me ask you how money has entered into your, you can talk about your marriage if you want, you can talk about your dating life, or even raising as a mom. So do you have anything that you have that you would like to impart some wisdom that you've kind of learned? Or do you just stay away from the whole money subject with dating and relationships?
Well, in my marriage, money was such a problem. I was a stay-home mom, but worked. Which that meant is that when my husband was home, that's when I was working. When the kids were at school, that's when I was working. So, and then I had started my own businesses. And so because of that, I could take my kids with me when I worked. And I made the same amount of money as my husband did, but I did it within 3 or 4 jobs, and he did it with his one. And he used to give me hell all the time saying, you need to walk away from your hobbies. He thought that my career and my businesses were my hobbies. And that was just not a very loving thing. And I realized, hindsight, that someone who doesn't support you that's a big problem. He never really cared. So when he left with everything. He took it all, except for the kids. And so I was left with $250 to my name and had to pay rent, had to pay bills, had to take care of the kids. And I didn't know what to do. And we had food, we had gas. I didn't really need to buy or spend anything. So I took that $250 and I started my business. And, when we got a divorce, he used to say to me, "Oh, how's the hobby going? You should get a real job." Well, that hobby turned into a 6-figure company. And
Woohoo!
exactly. Now, COVID really did a number on that. That was a whole 50 shades of bullshit right there. And it destroyed my business. And it was event planning and event lighting. And now I still do that. And it's starting to come back. But during that, I had been a producer and directing and in the film business, modeling, acting, all that stuff for about 25, 30 years before I left it to do my event planning business. Now, when COVID came back around, I went and said, you know what a better time to really start doing my own production. So that's when I stepped in and just started doing it out of sheer will. I just knew that the money is here, the money's coming, I got to believe that I'm living it, and then it happens. So I have not really talked a lot about finances on dates just because, like you, I had a bajillion first dates and not a lot of second ones. And just because, I'm all about staying on track, and some of these people I can read through them very quickly. So it never really moved on to that. But when I do get in relationships, we do talk about it. I say, look, I'm a single mom. I'm raising kids by myself. I have a lot of financial, responsibilities. If we want to date, that's great, but I'm not going to be able to be the one to, go halvesies or pay for it. If I could, I would. I would treat you night and day. That's just who
Yeah.
I am. I'm a giver. But you're going to get the give from me is going to be different. The give from me is going to be love, affection, attention, um, patience, understanding, kindness, devotion, you know, um,
Time,
faithfulness, time.
time, your energy, your
Mhm.
joy. You're
Mhm.
amazing.
Thank you. But I do tell them, if these are things that you want and you expect a woman to be financially blowing it out the park, I will get there. I am getting there. It will be someday, but I'm juggling a lot of balls to make it work. Southern California is expensive to live in. And so, I make it on my own. I never ask anybody, for anything. I make it on my own. But if a man wants me to put in that type of financial, then I say that's got to be, it's all you, bud. I'm an
Have you been
old-fashioned
asked
girl.
that before? Has anybody asked you that?
Guys have not so much asked me, but they have put their wallets away and expected me to pay for dinner, and it's weird. It's just all, and I'm like, okay, paying for dinner. I'm paying it in many ways, paying for dinner. So, and then don't see them again. It's not that I expect to be catered to all the time. If you can't afford dinner, then I'll cook for you at my house. You cook for me at yours. We make a picnic and go to the beach. There's many ways to date without spending a ton of money.
Oh,
But
for sure. You can go for a hike, you can go for a walk, you can go to a picnic. And that brings
mhm,
me to my next question. Who pays for the darn first date? Now, I know we have, multiple genders here. I know I'm talking gender roles, male, female, masculine, feminine,
yep.
job roles, whatever it might be, but just both sitting there and the bill comes, who doesn't grab the ticket? And I've met a lot of people and they've said, I always offer without moving my body and just say, would you like me to share that with you without moving? And most
Mhm,
of the time they will say, no, I got it, or
yep.
sure, or whatever. What do you think? I mean, I'm sure you get this question
I
all the
agree.
time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have many times said, "Oh, would you?" I've even gone so much as to put my hand on my wallet and say, "If you'd like me to, go in on this with you, I can." And they've always gone, "No, no, no, no." There's been the time or two, like I told you, that they had their wallet out
Yeah.
and then they put it away and look at me, and I'm like, "Where did that come from?" But yeah, I think that personally, I'm super traditional. I'm old fashioned, and I believe that if the man asks you on a date, then he should be taking you on a date. Now, I have asked people on dates, but and then I've prepaid for it. Like if we're going to go to a hockey game, which I'm obsessed with, then I'll buy the hockey tickets and invite him. So things like that. And then I ask, who you want me to pick you up? Do you want to drive together? Do you want to take the train together? What do you want to do? So I have done that if I'm the one asking.
Yeah, I love
But
that. So who asks the person out? And then if we're just meeting up for coffee or a cocktail, then it could be both just chipping in, and or
mhm,
I've been traditional my whole life. So it would be, I've been traditional, but I've been the masculine part of the divorces. But I've
yeah,
been I've been I've been traditional. So I think I'd have to, and I like to be wooed too, and that's part of being wooed for me.
I
Like
agree. Oh,
that's just part of it.
Speaking of, you had your cat earlier.
Yeah,
Mine's
yeah.
come to join us now.
Oh, she does look like mine. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, how
I'm like,
cute.
go back up there.
Yeah,
Um,
right?
yeah, I one of the first things I say on my profile is that I'm old fashioned traditional. I love the traditional gender roles. I like being the feminine woman. I love a man to take care of me, and I take care of my man in my way. So it's just, figuring that out. It's having those conversations. Now,
That's
you mentioned
perfect.
the coffee date.
Yeah.
Now I'm early. I'm always early. I'm an early bird catches the worm. I always show up to the coffee places, get my water or get my tea or whatever I'm going to be drinking, find a place to sit down and wait. So I
That's a
have done that.
great idea. I would love to do that because I really don't drink coffee. I mean, I'm a
Mhm.
tea drinker, and
Mhm.
and they never have decaf tea because I'm decaf. So I don't go and buy that anyways. So
Mhm.
I love that tip. Thank you so much, Christine. That's a great, great tip. I love that. Next question, you mentioned the profile. The profile, like you just hit it on the head right there by saying you put it in the profile to let them know you are
Mhm.
traditional.
Mhm.
How much let me put it this way. Can you put too much in your profile? Can you
Yes.
screw up a profile?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and scare the hell out of them.
Yeah. There are a couple of things to look for. Look for a profile that if you see nothing in a profile, you want to think twice about that. If you see a profile that goes on and on and on and on, when you go on a date, he's going to go on and on and on. If you see a profile that's got a bunch of negative Nelly stuff that says, they don't want this, they don't want that. If I were you, I'd freaking run because they are going to talk about their ex. They're going to call women bitches. There's going to be a lot of things. So you want to keep your profile short, sweet, to the point, and you want to be fairly, spot on. I say things like, I'm a traditional old fashioned girl. I'm a Wyoming. I'm from Wyoming. You can take the country girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl. I say, things like love hockey, but also love to go to plays. So can get dirty, but put on a sexy black dress and see what I can do. Things like that. Make it fun. Say I'm looking for emotionally available. If you want somebody who's financially stable, say it. You're going to find somebody who wants that. Now, if you get too personal, I think it's always not a good thing to do, especially the first time out the gate on a dating profile. Keep it short, sweet, and to the point. Same as your first date. Keep it short, sweet, to the
Sweet and
point. Don't spend too much time. Don't tell too much personal information. Do not talk about your exes. Do not talk about your dating experiences. Get to know each other for the good half hour, 45 minutes, and then call it a day. And then go home and then see if they make a date. Make a date before you leave. Then you're in. If they don't and they text you later, oh, it was great to talk to you or meet you, but then they don't make another date, you're more than likely going to be ghosted eventually. So,
Yeah, that's so great. You just gave so many gems at the last minute, at the last hour. I love it. I love, love, love it. Short and sweet and to the point. I love that. So I think I've been okay because I've done pretty much everything that you said on the profile, which is good. So, what is the biggest misconception? I know we're almost out of time. We're closing up the day here. So, what is the biggest misconception that you would love all single people to know about this modern day?
hmm,
Good question, huh?
misconception. I have I have no idea.
I
That
think
you
you've already
stumped me
said
on
it.
that one.
I
What's
think you've
that?
already said it with like you've already shared with me like I didn't know that there is the chatting, chat fishing, the chat
Mm-hmm.
fishing and then not being who you really are. So,
Don't
I
take people's
really
word for it.
yeah.
That's don't take people's word for it. People can really bullshit you. Go
Yeah.
out with them. If they don't make a date within the first week of talking to you, walk away. block, walk away. If they're, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, meet them first before you make a judgment call, because they can't. And don't date somebody and think that you know who they are until a month or two later, because people can only hold out the crazy for so long, and after a month, true selves start showing up. So don't jump in too fast. Just take your time. If someone's love bombing you, nope, can do. Walk away.
I love it. I love it. Christine, you're amazing, y'all. Please follow her podcast, download her, like her, share her, send her to other people. 50 Shades of Bullshyt, the truth about dating in this modern era. I love it. Thank you so much, Christine, for coming on.
Thanks for
I
having
truly
me.
appreciate it. I love it.
I
I had
love
a really,
being
really
here.
good time. And we're going
Yeah,
to
me
find
too.
more love in more ways. We're going to love money. We're going to love dating. And I wish you all the love in the world. Here's your tip. I just gave a lower price for the Rock My Finances Club. It is now a $5 30-day trial. And then it goes on to $27 a month at this point. So check out this trial real quick. Thank you all so much. Please download, share, and see you next week.
We appreciate you joining us today, and don't forget to subscribe to the Rock My Finances YouTube channel for more engagement and bonus content. Tell me, what is your money story? Let's find out with Jennifer, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, every Thursday right here on K4HD Radio and Talk4 TV. It's not about the zeros, it's about the F word, feelings. Feelings Jennifer can't wait to explore with you next week. Until then, let's all say, I rock my finances.